And if there is one thing that this party has always done well, it was the democratic process. I am both old enough and young enough to remember a challenge made to our founding father, Errol Barrow. I am both young enough and old enough to remember a challenge made to David Thompson. We all know that challenge was made as well to our last former leader, Frondell Stewart. So there's nothing special or mysterious about our internal process, so long as we remember that the minute is concluded, we are one Democratic Labour Party going forward. My biggest regret this morning is that we can't have the auditorium filled with people. We have a maximum of 175. But I want to assure all of you, because I know there are several of you who are also listening by live stream, that this morning when I woke up to the news, because I was tired, I went to bed. I figured whatever it was still going to be at 6 o'clock this morning. But I made it my first order of business to reach out to Comrade George Pilgrim. Because at the end of the day, if nothing else, having competition for the leadership of this party has energized the base of this party, and I thank him wholeheartedly for that. And I want you also to know that our meeting will take place this week, because there is no time to lose. We come together right now, right this minute, the Democratic Labour Party, full and ready to face Barbados through the by-election opportunity offered to us in St. George North. And I don't even consider it offering an olive branch, because never for one moment did I ever feel like we were enemies in the trenches opposite one another. And you would have seen the pictures in any event, any function that we went to, we spoke and were cordial. Because at the end of the day, one thing he was right about is that everybody has a role to play in this party. And win, lose, or draw in our internal elections, when we face out of George Street, there is only one face that we must show Barbados and the Barbados Labour Party, one united Democratic Labour Party standing together and ready to work. So for me, this is the new morning for the Democratic Labour Party. The night watchman survived and will continue to bat. I will no longer have at my side, visibly, Comrades Gyson Mears and Comrade Irene Sandyford Garner. Both in the last 2 years were the underpinnings for me. They kept me going. This is not to say that others didn't, but as General Secretary and First Vice President, I want you to understand the strength that they projected towards me, including telling me when they thought I was going wrong, including the constructive criticism. And I single them out today because they have both signaled that their fronting for the party has come to an end. But I am heartened that both of them remain committed to our cause and will continue to work behind the scenes on behalf of the Democratic Labour Party. And they hand over to a phenomenal young team. We have watched over the last year as Comrade Kemar Stewart blossomed and became a national name. He is a young economist, and he has earned the respect of the people of Barbados. And so his coming to the forefront of this party as our incoming General Secretary shows that you, the people of the party, have decided that the time has come for our young people to step up and accept the mantle on behalf of this party. And I know that he is new to the job, but I also like to watch what is going on around not just the region but the world. And I remember when Dean Barrow, they said he was too young. He was fresh out of law school, and he took on Belize, his country, and he transformed first his party and then became one of their youngest leaders ever. We underestimate young people, but that is where the vibrancy comes from in any organization. And that is why I am comforted as well that our vice presidents are represented again by young persons. You watched Ryan Walters tackle national issues. A young man with bright prospects, indicative of the future of this party. I may lead, but those young people behind me are who you must look to for your future guidance. And I maintain that every organization needs to have a succession plan. And these young people are our future. And I am comforted as well that they are not left alone, because in the mix of our new vice presidents, we also have the likes of Comrade Steve Blackett. And that mixture of youth and experience is what drives balance. And balance has been a concern of mine for a very long time, because I concluded a little while ago that the imbalances in Barbados are ripe for repair. I don't have to tell you about the inequalities in society, because you experience them every single day. I don't have to tell you, because so many of you sitting in front of me and within the hearing of my voice are hotel workers who are dismayed to find that their severance and their unemployment take a backseat to propping up big business. That is a pain that is felt in this country. We are all dismayed when we see policies put in place that allow some to leapfrog ahead of others and leave some behind. But it has always been the mandate of the Democratic Labour Party to be the champion of the underdog. And I pledge that under my leadership, that will continue to be the case. And that is why in January of this year, when I delivered the Errol Barrow Memorial Lecture, I made a point of considering what would take this country towards balance and prosperity. And I made these recommendations prior to COVID, because prior to COVID, we were already feeling pain in this country. Prior to COVID, we were already overtaxed. They spoke about the NSRL, but when they removed the NSRL, what they replaced it with has actually burdened our pockets more. So when I go into my archives and I see the pictures of reduced taxes now, I wonder how those persons holding those placards feel today. Because prior to COVID, we were already experiencing pressure. I don't have to tell you how almost immediately our crime situation got out of hand. Approximately 50 murders last year, and we're well on course to tip that scale again this year. And we all know that runaway crime, and that's only speaking about the murder rate. We all know that runaway crime is a symptom of a society that is crying out for help. So we know that it is not enough to promise more policing, more stringent sentences, curtailing of bail, until we have the social engineering that allows our people to feel like they are actually a part of this society. We will continue to have the problem. And because the Democratic Labour Party is committed to championing the needs of the underclass, that will remain an underpinning policy determination for the Democratic Labour Party to effect social engineering, to bring change to this country, to make more people feel like they are an active part of society. You don't need me to tell you that our education system has outlived its usefulness. We are grateful to our forefathers for the plan that they put in place. But like everything else, education needs cannot stagnate. But we are in the 21st century functioning with a system from the first half of the 20th century. And it needs to be brought forward with immediate haste. It is not enough to speak about tinkering with the common entrance exam. That too is just a symptom of the problem. What we need is a wholesale re-evaluation of our education system to make sure that it meets 21st century needs. And when I say 21st century needs, we cannot be gearing it towards 2020. We need to be looking a whole generation ahead and projecting our education needs in that direction. And that is why I find how we functioned in the COVID environment to be a shocking denial of our realities and an insistence of persisting with a system that does not work for us. And so our young people were forced to take a common entrance in COVID conditions. And our young people were forced to take CXC exams in COVID conditions. And all now cannot untangle the mess. Tomorrow they will be protesting again. because their futures hang in the balance. And that COVID lockdown was the time when we should have been pausing and re-evaluating and finding a new way of doing our systems in this country. And the ball was dropped where education is concerned, and our young people are suffering because of it. It cannot just be that we proclaim and project in relation to university education if you do not then make that university education relevant to the world of business. So we continue to have young people coming out of our university like a production mill, but they are not prepared for the world of work. That has to be rectified. We must no longer stratify our education. Those who are brilliant at maths and sciences deserve kudos, and they must be celebrated. But I want to celebrate my plumber. I want to celebrate my artists. I want to celebrate my cultural practitioners. And I want to celebrate all of them in the same way. So we should not have different classes of scholarships. If you excel at your discipline, then you deserve the kudos of the country. And that is next level education planning as proposed by the Democratic Labour Party. I don't have to tell you how you felt about your own financial situation, because we have decided, and when I say we, I mean the country, but definitely not the Democratic Labour Party, because that has never been our philosophy, that an economy supersedes people. And so we are okay with a selective default, and we are okay with fantastic levels of foreign reserves, and we are okay with those things while our people are suffering. That has never been the philosophy of the Democratic Labour Party, and perhaps the last administration did not sell it well, but I will repeat it because it is worth repeating. We are more than an economy. We are a society, and until we can balance the two, we are doing somebody a disservice. That is a mantra worth repeating. We have to be mindful of our people. We have to be mindful of our own circumstances. And we have to appreciate that there comes a time when you have to step back, reevaluate, determine where you want to be and how you can best get there. You may need a plan A, a plan B, and a plan C, but you have to have a plan. But never can you be leaving your people behind in any equation. You have to make sure that they are comfortable in their society. And that you're not slapping them in the face. Well, 40% of them are unemployed and talk about bringing 80,000 more people to this country. That cannot be a plan to make Barbadians comfortable at home. And when I say Barbadians, I extend that to all those who live and work and exist in this space, because they are honorary Barbadians as well. Those of us who have to be here have to take precedence, because those that you invite here on a temporary basis will uproot and go somewhere else if the conditions are better over there. And it is much better to have a level playing field. Make living and working conditions easier for everybody, and then people can come. But we cannot be leaving our people behind. They are the bedrock of our society, and they must be given precedence in all our decision making. And so, as we go forward into St. George North, because as far as I am concerned, the competition has ended in here, and we now go and fight a battle on behalf of the people of Barbados in St. George North. As we leave George Street and march our way towards St. George North, we know that we have a plan and a policy to offer alternative to the present administration. We know that we have proposals that will put people first. And we're not about the cliches and the meaningless statements. It is what we do that we will be judged on. And that is why I stated before, and I repeat again, that the by-election in St. George North is a prosecution of this present administration over the last 2.5 approximate years. And they will not be allowed to hide under the cloud of COVID, because their administration before that was wanting. And we will go to St. George North and let the workers know that even if others have let them down and put personal interests before their own, that the Democratic Labour Party remains committed to people. And that we are ready again. We had time enough to lick our wounds, but all wounds heal over time once you apply the medication. And we spent the last 2 years first listening. And I know that I took a bruising because of the persons that I brought to George Street to talk to us. But we can't only talk to ourselves and understand how we need to improve. And I remain committed to hearing what other people have to say about us besides ourselves, because it is the only way that we are going to move forward. And then we took on board and we have made changes in the last 2 years. We are not finished. We have so much more work to do. But we are ready to face the people of Barbados. And I want to see all of you, the 175 who can be in here with me today, and the hundreds and thousands more who are listening, to join us as we campaign in St. George North. I want you to know that last Wednesday, the executive of St. George North met. They will meet again in the next 48 hours or so. You don't know it, council members, but your first meeting is tomorrow night, because we have no moment to spare in getting ourselves in gear to stand up on behalf of the people of Barbados all across St. George North. And this today is a clarion call for all hands on deck. We have no time to waste. The people of Barbados have been crying out, and we have heard them, and we are responding on their behalf. And I know, because I watched this weekend and I saw the fervor that I remember from the 2007 campaign, and the fervor that I remember, I will date myself, from the 1986 campaign, and I saw it in here this weekend. And I know that we can muster it all on behalf of the people of St. George North and walk the length and breadth of that constituency, preaching the gospel of the Democratic Labour Party and its promise and its philosophy to keep people at the forefront of everything that we do. And the last officers of the party and the present officers of the party and all of our membership from all 30 constituencies and the affiliate bodies have a role to play. All hands on deck. Stand with me as we commit to each other, and we commit to St. George North, and we commit to the people of Barbados that the time is hot and right and ready for us to bring a challenge to this present administration and have them understand and appreciate that you don't actually need to be in Parliament to speak up on behalf of the people of Barbados, and for them to appreciate that someone has their ear and is willing to raise a voice on their behalf. This is a new day for the Democratic Labour Party. This is a refreshing moment for the Democratic Labour Party. I am humbled by the confidence that you have reposed in me. But I am clear that I can achieve little without your help. But I know that I have it because in the last 2 years, when you were called upon, you answered. And in the last 2 days, you signaled that the party is heading in the direction that you wish it to go. And therefore, as we pledge to each other, and we pledge to this party, wholeheartedly and tangibly, we move to the next phase of our development. And in doing so, we will bring along others with us, because that is how it works. As far as I am concerned, we move as a unit. And we will show Barbados that we are ready for this challenge. We thank the Prime Minister for the opportunity to showcase ourselves in a by-election. And we thank her as well for her personal choice of candidates. I could think of no better person to prosecute at this time. And whatever date is announced tonight at Flat Rock, because that is no secret, whatever date is announced tonight at Flat Rock, the Democratic Labour Party is ready. Take 90 days, take 30 days, we are ready and marching forward and going on and bringing Barbados with us. So I call on you all, and I know you will answer. Let us go forward. Only forward. Let us continue to grow as a party. Learn from our experiences and move forward. We are marching from George Street to St. George North, and that is just the beginning. We have some candidates in place, and we will make sure that a priority this coming year is to fill our slate of candidates, so that any other time that they wish to call a by-election, we are also ready to move forward. And that the 8 who have been chosen so far will also be motivated to step forward and get their work done. This is a crowning moment for the Democratic Labour Party. We are ready. We are going forward, and all of us in one direction together. I thank you.